Read Ephesians 5:33 once again. Nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his wife, love his own wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Generally, women don't need too much coaching when it comes to loving. It comes to them fairly naturally, but they do need encouragement when it comes to respecting. Respect comes natural to a man, just like loving comes natural to a woman. And what men want most is to be respected. What women want most is to be loved, and that is what they need most. And to the wives in here, if you want your husband to be more affectionate and to love you more, the key to getting him to do that is not loving him more. The key to getting him to do that is respecting him more. When you give him what he needs, he will unconsciously give you what you need. I want you to think about this verse. It says, husbands, love your wives. I think most of us know and would agree that that needs to be unconditional. In fact, elsewhere in Scripture, we're to love even as we've been loved by God through Christ Jesus. And so ladies, how many think that your husband just needs to love you unconditionally? Even when you're maybe not acting super lovable, he still needs to love you. I think that's true. This is a command to be obeyed. Husbands, love your wives. It doesn't qualify it. If she acts nice and does the right things, then love her. No, just love her. And if that's true, then it's also true of respect. It needs to be unconditional in the same way that the love is unconditional. It's not a suggestion. It's a command of God to be obeyed. And I know some women would think, I don't respect anything about him. Well, generally, when a woman says that, she's either too angry or too discouraged to really look at the things in him that are worthy of respect. And let's just start with this basic premise. Your husband's probably not evil. He's probably not out to destroy you. He probably is basically a good guy, which is why you married him. And guys, your wife, she's not evil. She's not there just to cut you down and to tear you apart. And so let's start from that basic premise that our spouse basically wants to do right and wants to be right. Most men are not full of evil intent. In fact, ladies, they're probably just as frustrated with you as you might be with them. And I want you to think of it. Your man is made in God's image with God-given attributes that are worthy of respect. And you need to try and see in him what God sees in him. Look at his good heart and begin showing respect regardless of his response. Because the truth is, most men are starving for honor and admiration and respect, just like the girls are starving to be loved and to be cherished. So ladies, start vocalizing, start demonstrating respect. The book that Janet mentioned about love and respect, the author said you need to try this little test. Think about some things that you respect your husband for, even if it's a short list. And then when he's not distracted or busy, go into the room and say, I've been thinking about you, and there's some things I really respect about you. I just want you to know I respect you. And then, without waiting for a response, say, look, I got to tend to some things, and quietly leave the room and see what he does. It's likely going to be, wait a minute. What things? You'd be surprised at how starved men are for respect. And I have 3 things I want to talk to you about, 3 things to consider that all have to do with the way God has created and wired us up as men. 3 areas that men crave to be respected in. And if you will respect them through your words, through your actions, honor and admire him in these 3 areas, I predict that he will unconsciously begin to give you what you need. If you'll respect him, he'll love you. In the 3 areas, you need to respect him in his work, in his wisdom, and in his warmth. His work, his wisdom, his warmth. And I'll talk about those as we go. The first one is work. It's the man's God-given nature to provide and to protect. Genesis 2:15 says, Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend it and to keep it. To tend means to work, to keep means to guard. God put it in the man to provide and to protect, to work and to guard. And I think most women have no idea the importance that men place upon their work. Our identity is tied into it. Do you know what we say when we meet another guy and when we engage another guy in conversation? Like the first thing we say is, "What do you do?" It's because our identity is tied into that. It's just that it's just what we say. Now, have you told your man thank you for the work you do? I appreciate you getting out there and doing your best to support this family. Support his efforts and don't ever put him down. And it's all the more important. Maybe your husband is out of work right now, between jobs, that you encourage him in those areas. So important. There was a lady and her husband were invited by some friends to come over to this new house. This couple, very well off, they had built their dream home. And so they bring their friends over and they're giving this husband and wife the tour, and they just leave this enormous master bedroom with a giant walk-in closet, ornate bathtub, and just giant tiled-in shower with a couple of shower heads in it. And as they're walking down the stairs, the wife says to her husband, the ones that are being given the tour, says, "I guess you're going to need to get a second job." She just sort of says it offhand and doesn't think anything about it. Let me tell you how the male psyche interprets that. Loser. I don't respect you. What you do is not enough, and I don't appreciate you. And so he begins to shut down, and 10 minutes later she realizes something's up, and she says, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." "What's going on?" "Nothing." You see, she's disrespected him in that area of his work. There was another lady. Her husband was going to go and ask for a raise. He'd been working hard, had been a big producer in the company, and so he goes into work, asks for the raise, calls his wife, says, "Look, the boss said yes." He goes, "Way to go, honey." Comes home, candlelight dinner. And there's a little card, just sort of beautifully inscribed next to his plate. Said, "Congratulations on getting the raise. I knew you'd do it. This dinner is just to tell you how much I love you." They had a great time. Afterwards, they're in the kitchen, and she doesn't know it, but another note is dropped out of her pocket. He picks it up, opens it, and it says, "Don't worry about not getting the raise. You deserve it anyway. This dinner is just to tell you how much I appreciate you." Very, very smart woman, showing respect to her husband. And as well, it's in us to protect you. And I know ladies a lot of times interpret us when we fall into protection mode as control mode. We don't want to control you, but it is in us to protect you. Some ladies take it as being critical. It's not. I remember when Janet and I got married, she's a smart gal, put herself through university. She's a registered nurse, and one night she's getting ready to go out somewhere. It's about 8:30. I said, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going to the mall." I said, "No, you're not." She said, "Yes, I am." I said, "No, you're not." Now, we lived in an okay area at the time, but the mall was in a really bad area, and there had been a rape in the mall parking lot in the previous week. I stood in front of the door. She says, "Get out of my way." I said, "I'm not moving. You are not going to the mall." She said, "Yes, I am." She tried to push past me, and I wouldn't let her pass. I said, "Over my dead body, you're going to the mall." And she got so upset with me. She thought I was trying to control her, but I wasn't. It's in me to protect her. And ladies, we would die for you. Understand that. It's not about controlling you. The husband that keeps on his wife said, "Look, baby, you need to slow down. You drive too fast through the neighborhood." He's not criticizing your driving. He's not trying to control you. He's thinking, okay, if a kid comes chasing a ball out between two cars in the street and you hit him, you're going to devastate another family, and you're not going to be able to live with yourself. And he's trying to protect you from that, and he's thinking about your future. That, all right, there's going to be lawsuits if things like that happen. We could lose our home and everything we've worked for. He's in protection mode. It's not control mode. So listen, verbalize your admiration for his efforts and your respect for his endeavors. And why not send him a note that says, I love the way you protect me. I so respect that about you. Watch and see what happens.